you got a little baby
Yeah.
now, right?
And she's awesome.
She's awesome. Yeah, beautiful, right? And you want to teach her.
Yeah.
Well, she doesn't know how to drive a car. She doesn't know how to cook, right?
Yeah.
But you tell her, and the law, you actually set up the law and say, hey, don't play on the street,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Don't go on the street. Don't touch the stove because you're going to burn yourself.
Hot things are hot.
Yeah, that's right. That's the law, right? And, and man, when that child's heading for the street, you're adamant,
Yeah.
right? But hopefully when your daughter's 20, she's cooking in the kitchen and touching the stove and using the stove,
Yeah.
right? So there's this process of learning, and in the process of learning, we have instruction,
That's right.
right?
Yeah.
Which we sometimes use the word law.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is in the law and the prophets, right? But the law wasn't, just an adamant dictate that says, hey, you have to do this because I need your money, or I need, I need you to do this. No, the law is about the instruction of the Lord,
Yeah.
right? And he's teaching us, and he teaches us, through this instruction. And so the only way that, we can actually make this shift to generosity if somebody comes along and says you should give, right? And here's a good pattern on how to give.
Yeah.
And so, God lays out the pattern. He lays out the pattern specifically to the nation of Israel. But, we talk about tithing and giving, but there's like all kinds of offerings in Scripture. Like it's not only tithing.
Yeah, that's right.
It's about giving, and it's about pouring out, and it's about the widows and orphans, and it's about looking after the Levite, and it's about looking after the stranger coming into your land. And, so there's this requirement on the resource, but it actually goes back to, it starts with a revelation of who God is.
Yeah,
right?
that's so good, yeah.
And Scripture says that, he owns everything.
Yeah.
The earth is his and the fullness thereof, and all of the people that are on it are his.
Yeah.
Right? Absolutely his. And when you start to look at scriptures on giving and your responsibility, you actually see that there's promise attached to blessing. See if I don't open up the windows and pour out.
Yeah.
Right? He gives seed to the sower and bread to the hungry.
Yeah.
Right? That's what he gives. So if I think that what I have is done by my own hand, I think I'm foolish.
That's right. Yeah.
I actually realize that the blessing of the Lord is already on us because he's pouring into us and giving.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
And so it starts with a revelation of who owns what I have.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I remember one time Lisa and I and some friends were out in July 1st watching the fireworks for Canada Day. And I was in my boat on Okanagan Lake. And to make a long story short, my boat sunk.
Oh my goodness.
Right? We had to
Whose
get
fault
rescued,
was that? Whose
right?
fault was that?
And my immediate reaction was, Lord, if you want to sink your boat, go ahead and sink your boat, right? So we've lived with this whole idea of what we have comes from the Lord.
Yeah,
it is the
such a good
Lord that
idea.
gives,
Yeah.
right? And so he's just wanting to pour in, but he's also wanting to see us pour out. And so, there's a requirement, right?